Welcome to the Flora Sage Podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. In today's throwback episode, we look at those things that we have been sweeping under the rug over the years. And I share with you a quick tip on how to clear all of those little things that bug you and that pull you away from having that life that you're excited about. I hope you enjoy. Today I want to share with you something that we are talking about and hitting hot and heavy inside of my 1 Degree Shift tribe. So every single month inside of this tribe, we look at certain aspects of life. In January, we looked at when the perfect time actually is to take a risk or to take a chance on getting what you want. We also looked at how to stop chasing happiness. And then in February, we looked at priorities and how to really figure out why, when you set a goal, why you don't achieve it. And most oftentimes it's because people don't plan for the phase of life that they're in, but also they're not really, or they don't really have priorities that are in alignment with basically like the type of lifestyle that they are really wanting and that they really desire. They have these goals and ideals that somebody else kind of put in their mind and they're like, shit, I don't even want this. So we cleared all that out. And this month we're talking about getting rid of the everyday problems and the bullshit that is keeping you from creating a life that you love. So I'm going to share a little bit with that with you. What am I trying to say? Blooper reel. But no, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we're talking about in the 1 Degree Shift tribe with all of you, because I really think that so many people are struggling right now to try to find those things that just work and that are working. So, you know, like when you have just a little annoyance going on in your life, it could be a burnt out light bulb that you're like, God, I have to change that, or a squeaky door. Or you have a couple books that you need to return to a friend or that you want to give away. You have the stuff for Goodwill in your trunk and you still haven't dropped it off. Maybe you have some bigger things that you are avoiding, you're putting off until the right time. It could be maybe paying off credit card debt. It could be losing weight. It could be having that challenging conversation with somebody that you know that you need to have that conversation with. And, some of the other things that you could be sweeping under the rug are like the big, huge elephants in the room. This could be an unhealthy, toxic relationship. It could be a medical diagnosis that you truly do need to address. But you just feel like you're like, oh my God, like I have so much stuff. And so because we have all of these things happen, and we have, not just all of these things, but we also have the life that we're trying to live. So we've got a spouse and we've got kids, we've got our self-care, we've got soccer practice or whatever it is, you've got staff meetings and all these things. And so you're just trying to navigate the day-to-day while still trying to create a life that you're excited about. And you're just like, how the hell? I don't even have any time for myself, let alone do this extra stuff to help me create a life that I'm excited about. What the hell, Flora? And like I said, this is what we're doing inside of the 1 Degree Shift tribe. So if that is you, I hear you. I have been there. The easiest way to start to have more time so that you can not only just focus on the day-to-day, but also be able to focus on those dreams that you have, is to lift up that virtual rug and start to clean up these messes. So the energetics of a mess is like those little light bulbs that you need to change, or that conversation you need to have with that person, or the weight that you need to lose, or the credit card debt that you need to get out of. Each one of those things is pulling at your energy, okay? So think of yourself as just like this sphere or ball of energy, okay? Let me see, what would be a good analogy for this? Okay, so let's just say that you're in a bubble made of glue and the glue is tacky, okay? So it's not dry, but it's not totally wet. And all of these things, the light bulb that you need to change, maybe the sheet set that you need to replace, maybe the squeaky door, the conversation you need to have with someone, the medical diagnosis, all this stuff, okay? So the weight you need to lose, the finances, like all the things, okay? So pretend that each one of those things is pulling at this ball of glue that you are a part of. So it's like kind of stringy, and so there's this pull here, and then this pull here, and this pull here, and this pull here, and this pull here, and you're being pulled in all these different directions. Well, you feel stuck. You feel stuck in this ball of glue with all of the glue kind of just stringing you everywhere, and you're just like, oh my God, like I can't even, like I cannot even, okay? So how do you address this? Well, recognize that that's what all of these little things are doing to you. So energetically, when you have these little things that are under the rug that you keep putting off and putting off and putting off, it is scattering and fragmenting your focus and your energy and your attention and your time. So the easiest way to address this is to do a brain dump. So grab a notebook. This is my planner, but it's got spots in the back that you can write things in. Grab a notebook, do a brain dump. Get all of it out. Get it all of it out of your head, okay? All of the to-dos, all the little everyday problems that you have that you just don't have time for, or you think you don't have time for, get it all out. All the things, okay? Don't censor, just get it all out. Then, the next thing I want you to do, and I've got all of this in my book, The 1 Degree Shift, so if you have my book and you've read it, this sounds familiar. So the next thing that you do is all of the things that you've written down, I want you to look at it and say, okay, I'm gonna whittle this list, this brain dump down to my top 10 stressors. So I want you to look at everything that you've written down and say, okay, what are the top 10 things that are stressing me out right now on this list, okay? Now, don't mark the things that you think are stressing you out. Mark the things that you know are stressing you out. So in my book, I shared a story about how one day I did this and I got 6.5 pages on a legal notepad of shit that was stressing me out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is bullshit. And I narrowed it down to the top 10 things that were actually stressing me out. Not the things that I thought should be stressing me out, but the things that were actually stressing me out. Then I narrowed that 10 down to 3 and then down to 1. And that's what I want you to do as well. Do the brain dump, narrow it down to your top 10, then to your top 3, then to your top 1 stressor. Do you know what my top stressor was at the time that I did this the first time? Cat litter on the floor. I was like, you gotta be effing kidding me. Out of all this stuff, that is the one thing that's stressing me out the most. And I was like, ugh, all right, whatever. Am I willing to address this today? Yes. Okay, what can I do? Now, I share the whole story in my book, but to sum up, basically, when I lived in Oklahoma, we had the cat litter in the garage, didn't even have to think about it. When we moved to Wisconsin, I'm now living in Arizona, but when I lived in Wisconsin, we had the cat litter downstairs by the patio. Well, my bedroom was downstairs, as was the laundry room and a couple other rooms that I frequented throughout the day. And the cat litter was all over the floor. Now, granted, it was clean because I actually do the litter box like 3 to 4 times a day just because that's how I am. But I just did not like the fact that there was cat litter on the damn floor. So what I did was like, okay, what is a way to get rid of the cat litter? I could get rid of the cats. I'm like, that's not an option. And I'm like, well, I could put something underneath the cat box, like far away from the cat box, like underneath it, so that it could catch the cat litter that's still on the paws of the cats when they jump out. So I measured the space and found this area rug that would fit perfectly. It was this beautiful outdoor wicker area rug that had enough kind of bristles on it so that it would kind of tickle the cat's feet and grab the freaking cat litter so that it wouldn't be on the floor. And I was like, yes. So I addressed it that day and then it was off my plate. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. Another thing that was on my list, which really surprised me, was our outside front lights would constantly go out. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And so I bit the bullet, And I said, okay, how can I address this? And I'm like, I could put LEDs, which pretty much like don't run out for a very, very, very long time. Well, an LED light is typically between $10 to $20 each for each light bulb. And there was 8 needed for the whole house because they were just constantly going out. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. And so I bit the bullet and I got 8 LED floodlights for the front of the house and I took care of it. And I was like, wow, that feels so good. And then I started to just feel and recognize how good it felt to literally pick up that virtual rug and literally and metaphorically and address all these little tiny things that were pissing me off and that were bugging me and that were pulling my energy away from the life that I was trying to live. Part of it was a squeaky door. I mean, legit. Part of it was my codependency. Part of it was a toxic relationship that I had with my dad's second wife. And so when I started to address these things, now the big one, like my codependency and the toxic relationship that I had with my former stepmother, that was a big thing. That was one of those big things, and I didn't feel ready for it. And so what happened was when I started to tackle these little tiny things, what happened was I got even more clear about the type of life that I wanted to live. And I also gained the courage to take another step forward and do something else. When I did the cat litter, I was like, hell yeah, this feels good. I got a little bit more confident. Now granted, people are like, it's fucking cat litter, Flora. Exactly. These little things matter. They matter. So when you can start to minimize and get rid of and clean up all these little tiny messes, what happens is you have more energy, you have more time, and you have more attention to be able to spend doing the things that you truly want to do. Truly. So today, I truly implore you, if you're not really like stupidly excited about your life, do this exercise. Like I said, it's in my book, The 1 Degree Shift. You can grab it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the comments once the video is finished. But I really, truly recommend that you do this. Grab a notebook, do a brain dump, get it all out, then narrow that whole list down to your number 1 stressor. So narrow the whole list down to your top 10, top 3, then top stressor. Then deal with that. If it's a challenging conversation, chances are if it's a challenging conversation or you think it's going to be a challenging conversation, it's because you've thought about it forever, but when you actually go to have the conversation, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. Trust me. Now, if it is with someone who is toxic or a bully or something like that, do you really need to have the conversation at all, or can you just send them a message and wish them well? You know, when I separated myself from my stepmother, that's what I did. I sent her an email saying, it's been swell, but hasta la vista, baby. And I have not looked back since. That was the healthy thing for me to do. It was a toxic relationship, and I've written about that in my book as well, but it just was the right thing for me to do. It was scary as hell to do that, and what gave me the courage to finally tackle that relationship and to also finally tackle my codependency issues was doing these tiny things. Tackling the light bulb issue and the squeaky door and the cat litter on the floor. And like I said, these seem like just seemingly simple, insignificant things. But these insignificant things matter. Several weeks ago, we were talking about paying attention to your busy. When you pay attention to your busy, that will give you an indicator of the little stressors that you have in your life and those things that you're doing that are pulling you away from what you really, truly want to be doing. So, tomorrow, inside of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe, we have our 60-minute live group coaching, and I would love to support you in this. So if you want to be a part of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe membership, what I want you to do is I want you to click the link in the comments. It's going to be link number 1, and I want you to join us because when you have support, like you can know about something all day long, but until you put it into action, you're not going to get results. Now, you may put it into action and you might do it for the first couple weeks and you're like, yeah, this is good, woohoo! And then life happens and then you start to fade back and then you start to have the life that you've always had instead of the life that you've always wanted. And the difference between the two people of having a life that you've always had versus having a life that you've always wanted is support and accountability. And that's what you get inside of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe. So click the link number 1 to join us inside of the 1 Degree Shift Tribe. And I will see you tomorrow for our live group coaching. And if you have not gotten my book, what I want you to do is click link number 2 and grab your copy. It's available on Kindle. It's available on all the different e-platforms as well as hard copy. I've got jets flying overhead. I live by an airbase. Gotta love it. So I love you guys, and I'm so excited to hopefully be able to support you and coach you and speak with you tomorrow in the 1 Degree Shift Tribe community. I love you. Mwah. I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. The links mentioned in today's podcast episode are in the show notes.